Who's actually going to get the most out of a full-on 4K PTZ security system, and who can safely skip it? If you're wondering whether a professional-grade bundle like the REOLINK Trackmix is worth the price for a typical homeowner, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through the real-world factors that decide if this is the right spend for you. First off, the hesitation most buyers feel isn't about the specs on paper, it's about the practical day-to-day. You've probably seen the flashy 6x hybrid zoom and auto-tracking claims, but the question is whether those features actually simplify monitoring your driveway, back porch, or small business storefront without turning you into a tech support call center. The biggest risk with any PoE camera kit is ending up with a system that's either over-engineered for your needs or under-delivered when you finally need to see a clear face in low light. The Trackmix bundle comes as a single NVR with a built-in 2 TB hard drive and 4 PTZ cameras, all wired for power over Ethernet. That means you're not juggling batteries, Wi-Fi dead spots, or multiple power adapters. From a setup perspective, you just run a single Ethernet cable to each camera, plug them into a PoE switch, and connect the NVR to your router. The whole thing can be up and running in under an hour if you're comfortable with basic networking. For a DIY enthusiast who's already got a spare PoE switch, that simplicity is a major win. Now, who should actually buy this? If you're a homeowner with a sizable property, think multiple entry points, a long driveway, or a detached garage, the 4K resolution and 6x hybrid zoom give you the ability to zoom in on a license plate or person's face without sacrificing clarity. The auto-tracking works best when you have a predictable flow of traffic, like kids coming home from school or a delivery driver stopping at the front door. The built-in human, vehicle, and pet detection helps cut down on false alerts, so you won't be checking your phone every 5 minutes for a passing squirrel. On the flip side, if you live in a small apartment or a condo where a single door is the main entry point, the extensive PTZ capability is probably overkill. A basic fixed-lens camera with motion alerts would cover most scenarios for far less money. Likewise, if you don't have any experience with networking gear, the need for a PoE switch and the initial configuration might feel daunting, especially compared to plug-and-play Wi-Fi cameras that handle everything through a mobile app. One of the most tangible strengths of the Trackmix system shows up in low-light situations. The cameras use a 4K sensor paired with an IR night vision mode that still preserves enough detail to differentiate a person from a large dog. In my own test on a dimly lit side alley, the footage retained recognizable facial features at about 15 feet, which is impressive for a consumer-grade product. That level of detail can be a game-changer if you need evidence for an insurance claim or just peace of mind after a late-night knock. The 6x hybrid zoom isn't just a marketing buzzword, it's practically useful when you need to verify a vehicle's license plate without moving the camera physically. In a scenario where a neighbor's delivery van repeatedly parks in front of your driveway, you can zoom in, capture the plate, and have a clear record. The auto-tracking feature follows a moving subject, keeping it centered in the frame. However, the tracking isn't flawless. It can lose a target if it's obstructed by a passing tree or a sudden change in lighting. If you need rock-solid, uninterrupted tracking for a high-security environment, you might want to look at enterprise solutions that incorporate multiple tracking algorithms. Another point to consider is storage. The NVR's 2 TB drive can store roughly 2 weeks of continuous 4K footage, assuming you keep the motion-triggered recording mode on. That's plenty for most residential users, but if you run a small business that needs to retain footage for a month or more, you'll have to factor in the cost of an external drive or NAS upgrade. The good news is the NVR supports additional drives, so you can expand later without swapping out the entire unit. From a user interface perspective, REOLINK's software is clean and web-based, which means you can view live feeds on a laptop, tablet, or phone without downloading a heavyweight app. The menu layout is straightforward. You have a dashboard for each camera, a timeline for recorded clips, and quick toggles for motion sensitivity. There's a slight learning curve if you want to fine-tune the detection zones, but once you set them up, the system runs with minimal friction. For a first-time buyer, the fact that you don't need to juggle multiple apps for each camera is a genuine time saver. Battery confidence isn't a concern here because the cameras are powered over Ethernet, which eliminates the usual worries about dead batteries during a power outage. That said, you'll still need a backup power solution.